everyone. Welcome to Little Diamond Yoga Stories with me, Megan. Now, Little Diamond Yoga Stories is all about learning a new story and doing some yoga poses as we go along. Okay, so copy the moves that I do and try to have some fun. Now let's start off our yoga as we always do by crossing our legs, sitting on our bottoms and bringing our hands to our hearts. And after 3 we're going to say our yoga hello, namaste. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Well done. Now today's story is about a special day. It's about the 1st of March. The 1st of March is St. David's Day. St. David is the patron saint of Wales. Now on the flag of Wales, there's a big red dragon. So let's start off with 3 dragon breaths. Clip your hands together like this in a big fist together and then pop that under your chin. As we breathe in, we're going to lift up our elbows. And as we breathe out, we're going to put our elbows down, look up and breathe out the fire, just like a dragon. Ready? 2 more. Last one. Well done. And like I said, today's story is about St. David. So let's start off in our St. David pose. Standing up with your feet together and bring your hands together to your heart. So show our patron saint pose for St. David. Now as a boy, David loved reading and writing. So let's go to our storybook pose. Onto your bottoms. And bring the bottoms of your feet together so they are touching, and then hold your toes so your knees drop out to the sides. And sitting up, take your hands away and then turn the pages of your storybook. Because David loved reading as a boy. He also loved writing, like I said, so let's open up those legs and then pick up our pencil and write. Okay, let's put that pencil down and pick up the other one and write. Well done. Now David's mum was called Non and his dad was called Sant. His dad was king of Ceredigion. So let's go into our king pose. Standing up with your feet together and then pop your crown on your head. From when he was a young boy, they knew that David was special, because wherever he went, he was followed by a white dove. Bring your hands down and then bend forward. Let your arms fall down in front of you so your hands are touching. And then let's flap our wings like a graceful, beautiful white dove. Okay, now come down onto your knees. David loved listening to stories. Rub your ears from the bottom to the top and back down again. The stories he listened to were read by monks. David decided he wanted to be a monk when he was older. David was a good, put both of your thumbs up to show he was a good boy. He was also a kind boy. Take your arms out wide and give yourself a big hug, showing a kind person, just like David was. He was also very shy and very quiet, just like a little mouse. Let's go into our mouse pose. On your knees, keeping your bottom down, take your head down to the floor and then tuck your arms by your sides and squeak, squeak, squeak like a mouse. David would sit, come onto your bottoms and cross your legs, listening to the monks, listening to his teachers, telling stories, rubbing our ears as we listen to those stories being told. day, David, let's go back into our St. David pose, standing up with your feet together and bring your hands to your heart. One day, David noticed the monk, his teacher, was struggling. Let's use our super spectacles to see David noticing this problem. He saw that his teacher was struggling to read. Come onto your bottoms and let's go back into our storybook pose. Bring the bottoms of your feet together, holding your toes and letting your knees drop to the side. The monk was struggling to read the story to the children. Over time, his eyes had gotten blurry. His eyesight had gotten really bad, and now he was blind. Put your hands over your eyes. He couldn't see the story anymore. David, back into our David pose, standing up with our feet together, bringing our hands to our heart. David thought he could help. Coming down onto your knees. He rubbed his hands together and then placed them over his teacher's eyes. Suddenly, taking your hands down, his teacher could see again. David had made him see. David travelled around Britain telling stories of Jesus. Let's do some big steps to show that travelling. Standing up. If you're on your mat, come to the edge of it, and then we're going to take one big step. And another, and another, and one more. Then David travelled home. Let's go into our house pose. Standing with your feet slightly apart, bring your hands to your heart and raise them above your head. He came home with his friends, Aidan, Ishmael and Talia. David, let's go back into our David pose, feet together, hands to your heart, decided he was going to build a monastery. Let's go into our building. Crouch down onto your toes. Lift your hands and try not to wobble. Put one arm out in front of you and the other arm just above it. And then bring the bottom arm on top of your other arm. And then the bottom one on top again. And then standing as you go, we're going to keep on building. Just like David wanted to build the monastery. Now let's go into a monastery pose. Legs wide, hands to your heart. Take them above your head and then open your arms. Well done. Unfortunately, a fierce man called Moya didn't want David to build a monastery near his land, so he went to hurt David. Let's go into our warrior pose. Bring your arms down, keeping your feet slightly apart, and then turn one foot around to the side, and then lift your arms. Okay, now turn and look. So you're looking towards the same way your toes are facing, and then bend that leg, the leg that you turned the toes on, into a warrior pose. Standing back up, and you're going to turn those toes back to the front, keep your arms where they are, and turn the other toes on your other foot to face out to the side. And then look over that way and bend that leg. So Moya wanted to hurt David, but fortunately God stopped David from being harmed. Come onto your knees, sitting up, and take one foot in front of you. And then you're going to put your arms into an X. See, like that, an X. And you're going to hold it above your head because you're being protected. Okay, take your arms back down. Take that knee back and then put the other foot in front of you instead. And again, make your X above your face to protect you from harm. Bringing your arms down and taking your knees back. This made David even more determined to build his monastery. Let's go back into our monastery pose. Standing up with your legs out wide, bringing your hands to your heart, lift them above your head and then open your arms. He worked hard every day and made sure all the other people were working hard too. They also grew vegetables. Coming onto your bottoms and open your legs out wide. We're going to sprinkle some seeds in the compost. Well done. And then we're going to put our arms out wide and we're going to twist over one shoulder, get some compost and shake it on top of all of our seeds to grow some delicious vegetables, seeds and bulbs. Okay, and now put your arms out wide again and twist to look over the other shoulder and get your watering can to water them to make sure they grow nicely. And when the vegetables were grown, they shared them with all the people around. Coming onto your knees, and you're going to take your arms out wide again and you're going to twist to look over one shoulder for vegetables to be shared over there. And then come back to the front with your arms out wide again, twist to look over the other shoulder for vegetables to be shared over there. Fantastic. One day, David was preaching in a place called Brevi. Now, preaching means he was telling stories of Jesus. So let's go into our storybook pose. Onto your bottoms. And bring the bottoms of your feet together so they are touching, letting your knees fall out to the sides, and then turn the pages in your story. Now, because he was preaching, these stories are told very loud for all to hear. So we're going to cup our hands around our mouths, and we're going to do a big breath out to blow out all the stories he is telling. Okay, after 3, breathe in. And out. Well done. Let's spread some more stories. Cup your hands around your mouth. 1, 2, 3. In. And out. Well done. One more. Cup your hands around your mouth. 1, 2, 3. In. And out. Well done. Whilst David was preaching, something wonderful happened. People of Brevi were listening to him preach, rubbing your ears from the bottom to the top and all the way back down again. But unfortunately, they could not see him. Taking your hands over your eyes. Let's go back into our David pose, standing up with your feet together and bring your hands to your heart. As David was preaching, something amazing happened to the ground beneath his feet. Taking your hands by your side, breathe in and reach your hands up to the sky. And say, "Hello, sky." And then take your arms down as you bend forward and take your arms down to the ground and say, "Hello, ground." And then standing back up with your hands by your sides, the ground beneath his feet started to lift up into the air. Lying on your backs. Keep your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. your bottom. And then after 3, we're going to lift our hips up into the air like this, okay? 1, 2, 3. Lifting up just like the ground did beneath David as he was preaching. David was now standing on a hill, so all the people of Brevi could not only hear his beautiful preaching, they could also see him as he spoke. Bringing your bottom back down to the floor. Now straighten your legs out and lay on your backs with your arms by your sides. And close your eyes. David performed miracles. We heard about 2 of those miracles in our story, where he helped someone who was blind be able to see, and where the ground lifted beneath him so he could be seen and heard by all. He became a saint in the 12th century. David died on the 1st of March many years ago. To remember him, every year on the 1st of March we celebrate St. David's Day. And there is a big St. David's Day parade. People typically celebrate St. David's Day by wearing a daffodil, which is the symbol for Wales, the national emblem for Wales. Or they may wear a leek, which is the symbol for St. David. In Wales, people, particularly children, wear traditional Welsh costumes. Girls wear petticoats and overcoats made of Welsh flannel, and a tall hat worn over a frilled bonnet. All to remember patron saint of Wales, St. David. Okay, now wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Lift up your knees and give them a hug. And now roll onto your side and push yourself up so you're sitting on your bottom with your legs crossed. Bring your hands to your heart and we'll say our yoga goodbye. Namaste. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us at Little Diamond Yoga Stories today. See you again soon. Bye.